Good morning. It is 6:15. I am Kenesha Berry. I am a relationship life coach, actually a relationship mindset life coach. I help you create the mindset you need to create the life you want. Good morning, Nat. So this morning I just want to pop on shortly and encourage you guys that it is okay to start over. I know for me, like starting something new, starting something fresh, oftentimes can feel very scary. Um, Particularly as we get older, because oftentimes because of society and because of the way we've been raised and the ideas that we have, we get caught. I think my generation might be one of the last generations who deal with this as much, because the generations before us would do this thing where they would keep one job for a long time, work one job for 20 years or 30 years. We recognize that now in society, very rarely do you meet people who have worked only one job and kept it for 20 years. But as we get older, again, I'm particularly talking to people in my generation. I am 50 years old, and we can tend to think, well, I just have to ride this out. I'm just going to ride this out. I'm almost there. I'm almost at this retirement thing. So I'm just going to ride this out. I dare not start anything new. I dare not apply for the new job because, when I was younger, I would hear people say, first hired, last fired. I want to tell you that is so not true. Even though it was years ago when I was working for the television station, I was literally the last hired in the group of graphic designers that was there at the time, and I was the only one when they began to minimize the graphics department. In the end, it was just me, and I was still called the last hired. And there may be some of you guys who think, oh, well, it's probably because it was paying you less than the other designers. They weren't. I know because when I found out they were paying me less, I would not ask for my money. They got me. They got me up to par. And actually, they began to pay me more. So I share that story not to boast. I share that story to say, just because it's a belief you have or it's something that people have said, you don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe it. If there is a pressing on your heart and in your mind, in the core of your soul, where it feels like this idea, this thought, this belief will not let you go, I encourage you to give it a try. There is something sweet about starting something new. Now, yes, is there something scary that goes along with it? Absolutely. But there is absolutely something sweet about it. And particularly when you know that this is a direction you, in your knowing that God has called you to, that does not mean that in the midst of doing it, you won't have doubts, because that is what the mind does. Some people will say this is what the devil does. He attacks your mind. But in 2020, I was going to school. I was completing, started to get my degree, my master's degree in pastoral counseling. Now, when I started that degree, in full disclosure, I had no idea why I was getting this degree. I just had this pressing every day, every morning, every night, this pressing on my heart prior to 2020, where I felt like God was saying, go back to school. And I wrestled with God because I had no desire. When I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I had decided then I was never going back to formal education. But however, God will, you can make one decision and God will help you make a different one. Why am I sharing this? Because there's someone who may watch this who think or may think, I really want to change, I really want to shift, but I think I'm too old. And I want you to know you're not too old. As I love Steve Harvey because he says, old is the goal. So think about it this way. If you're blessed enough to live 20 more years, do you want to live the next 20 doing exactly what you're doing now? Even if you're blessed enough to get 15 more years, do you want to live those next 15 doing exactly what you're doing now? And if you are, great. Or if you want to expand what you're doing, wonderful. But I'm just encouraging you, it's okay to start over, to do something different, to do something new, to do the thing that scares you. Um, this notion that you're going to lose everything, because sometimes that's what the mind would do. It takes you to the worst case scenario. And most people will tell you, don't think like that. I want you to do something different. I want to encourage you. I want you to think about the worst case scenario. I want you to look at it and I want you to go there. I want you to think about what would it mean for me to start over, to go, and by starting over, doing the thing that I really desire to do, the thing I believe will bring me great joy. And what if it all goes wrong? I want you to think about it. And then I want you to think about, like, go to the scariest part of your mind. And so for me, when I did this exercise before, it's an exercise, guys, so don't freak out. It's just an exercise. When I went to the scariest part of my mind, what is the worst thing could happen? We could lose everything. Okay, well, what is everything? Back then, we didn't even have a house. But at the end, when I got to the very end of what is the worst could happen, is because my mom is who she is, she would let us live with her for a little while, right? So at the worst that could happen is that I could end up back in my mother's house for such a time. And when I realized that, okay, Kadisha, that's the worst, that's the absolute worst that's gonna happen. You're not gonna end up homeless, you're not gonna end up on the streets. You have a home that your mom will let you come back to. Go for it. Like, if that is the worst that's gonna happen, go for it. And so the reason I'm encouraging you to do that exercise is because oftentimes we imagine the worst and we go to the bottom of the bottom, but if we're really honest, the worst that can happen, you can survive it. You can survive it. But what's even more important, excuse me, guys, I have a cold. What's even more important than the worst that can happen in your mind is the likelihood of it happening. It's slim. It's very slim. So you are missing out on trying something new, starting over, doing something that you may feel this deep urge or calling to do because of this fear or this belief that the worst will happen, and you have no evidence of that. So you're missing out on the greatest part of your life because of a thought that you're having. I want you to get that. You are literally missing out. You're too afraid to try. You won't go after the thing you deeply desire because of a thought that it might not work out. You can sit and come up with all these so-called reasons, but if you're real honest, it's just a thought. And here's what's beautiful about thoughts. Pick a different one. Pick a different one. So now let's go to the very opposite end of what I asked you to do. I want you to take time and think about what is the best thing that could happen if you chose to start over, if you decided to do something new or to go for this dream goal, this desire you have. What is the best outcome? What would that look like? And so for me, starting over, going to school to get my degree, my master's degree in pastoral counseling, honestly, again, having no clue what this meant. But the closer I began to get to that, completing this process, right? There was moments of anxiety. It was not easy. It wasn't easy for me. But I kept saying, Lord, I don't want to go work for someone. I haven't worked a 40-hour-week job and had to be in a place because someone says I have to be there in a long time. That would be like that. That's not a part of my vision. I don't want that. And guess what? God was not requiring it. So the degree opened doors for me to take Very Thoughtful to a different level. So now Very Thoughtful can have contracts with schools or with companies to come in and teach social emotional learning because of the degree. Now, as a coach, people didn't see that value. But with a master's degree in counseling, even though it's pastoral counseling, people see the value. Shift. I didn't know. God knew. So I tried the new thing. I tried the different thing. I started over. And I am now doing what I love. And what's so wonderful about God, that scripture that says he would give you more than you could ask for, more than you can imagine. I couldn't imagine that I would enjoy working with middle schoolers, but I do. It is wonderful. It is days there where it is challenging. It is funny at times. There are still moments of doubt, but I get to earn income doing what I love, doing something that I had to start from scratch. The latter part of my life, where some people will say, girl, you should be trying to retire right now. I don't know what this notion of retirement is. I don't want to stop working to sit in my house every day to watch TV. I want to be a working person. When I pray my body will let me. If I can just get a glimpse, if a glimpse of retirement is what my parents are. My mom, who is 72, I believe, and all over the place, has more energy than me. My dad, who's 74. And the other day, I watched this man bend down and pick up something off the floor, and I was a little jealous because he didn't grunt. My knees hurt. But if they are a glimpse of what is possible for me in my 70s, I want to still be doing this. I want it maybe bigger, maybe multiplied, but I want to be helping women discover who she is so she can live her best life. I want to be helping people who will allow me to wake up from like the false beliefs they have about themselves and move into the life that they can't imagine in my 70s. If I get to do that, that's what I want my retirement to look like. God has blessed me that I didn't have to wait until I stopped working to travel. We have been so blessed and graced that travel happened within my my working years. And so I trust him for something even greater in my latter years. And so I encourage you to do the same. So I pray that this has been a blessing. I encourage you, I know starting over can seem scary. I know that doing something fresh and new, particularly if you're a seasoned person, may seem outrageous. But I encourage you to go for it. Go for it. And I want you to begin to imagine what's the worst that can happen and what's the best that could happen. And then when you see the two beside each other, I pray that the what is the best can happen will encourage you and inspire you to just go for it. Just go for it. All right, I want you to have a wonderful day. I am Kenesha Berry. I'm a relationship mindset life coach. If this has helped you at all, blessed you in any way, I encourage you or ask you, will you please tag someone or share this video out? All right, go forth. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.